First, just please introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Charlie Van Derven. Let's see, husband to Carmen, father to Max and Eden, and also on a secondary role, run this business, Social Advisors. I'll call us something of an agency focused on financial services, though really our strategies work for just about anything B2B. But Eric, you, as well as I do, you got to get narrow on your marketing to really make a dent. So yeah, we market into financial services, which is awesome because it's heavily regulated and have all kinds of compliance rules. So some marketers are scared of it. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. Let's see, a 51-year-old entrepreneur that lives near the beach in Florida, likes to surf, likes to snowboard, likes to golf. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. There's probably some other things in there.
Those are all really good. Where's the best place that you've ever surfed in your life?
Puerto Rico. See, now I came to surfing at 37 years old. Right.
Okay.
So I was a ski bum, grew up in Wisconsin, ski racing in the Upper Peninsula in Michigan a lot. I found a snowboard when I was 14 years old. If you're listening to this, you can't see it. If you're watching this, those are cool old Burtons on the back wall back there. Yeah, I found snowboarding, which was kind of an amazing thing for me and guided a lot of my life. Lived in Alaska and British Columbia. And I ran into a really cool hot redhead while I was living in South Lake Tahoe. Carmen, we married, had kids, and she's from Florida. So I was like, what? Lake Tahoe to Orlando? This sucks. So we moved to the beach. And so, yeah, I just surfed the little waves in Florida here, but we do have a hurricane coming in and out in the Atlantic that's gonna push us some big waves for the next 2 or 3 days here.
July, middle. So it was early to middle of July on the North Shore of Hawaii on the Turtle. That was where I caught the best waves of my whole life. And it's great there because there's not, like, you don't really surf the beach. You surf like the edge of like a cliffside where the hotel is. And I've told the story before, but I'll tell it again because it's so magical. I was sitting there. I was with one of my best friends. We had worked all day and then we went surfing, and it was July 4th. So there are fireworks going off in the distance. It was like maybe 7 p.m. or so. So it's kind of dusky. Bunch of people out there, super good time. And on the actual resort, there was a guy playing his ukulele on the stage there, and he was playing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which is, of course, like, it makes everybody's heart melt. Yeah. And then, I kid you not, a sea turtle came up in between both of us and looked at both of us and then went down into the water. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am so grateful for everything.
Yeah, it's those moments, dude. Similar situations in the water. Yeah, you're so out of your element when you're surfing, right? You're riding a wave of energy on a medium which we're not really built for. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's just such, and I've had dolphins come down the line where I'd see them like 200 or 300 yards south of me. At one specific moment, I was on a surfboard. My buddy Steve was on a stand-up paddle, and these dolphins were jumping in the wave. And then they'd get 50 yards closer, and then 50 yards closer, and then they're like scary close to the point where just messing with you. They're just messing with you. So I had 2 dolphins, 500 or 600 pound creatures, coming at me like a bullet, right under my surfboard, right out, and like to the point where, Eric, I'm on the board, Steve's standing next to me, I'm on the board going, oh shit, like just bracing for impact. Board, just a big jump on the other side.
They're like, we'll take it over from here, friend.
It's just messing with you, dude.
That's funny.
Yeah, there's some magical moments out there.
So you and I, we had the chance to meet when I was sick with COVID, and we kind of found out that we have some shared history. So I'm going to try to dive in somewhere into your life and get a cross section of kind of how you think and how you operate. So my question for you is, what is your key to the good and long life?
Oh, well, I don't know. I'm trying to reduce stress as much as I possibly can.
Are you a worrier? Would you consider yourself kind of a worrywart?
Less today than in the past. For much of my professional career, so I've been really working on mindset. I'm reading a Dr. Joe Dispenza book right now, and I'm really working on mindset and understanding, where I align not only physically but spiritually. And I do believe I'm wearing a meat suit, right? I'm something other than what I have a body. I'm not a body. That kind of adage. That's brought a lot of peace to my life. I'm a punk rock kid, right? I grew up, I'm the ultimate rebel, grew up listening to rebellious music and, getting in trouble and, teenager with some anger.
We're not gonna take it.
right? Like, yeah, like I hated authority my whole life, still do. It's why I run my own business, yeah, I don't know how well I'm surviving corporate America, but I think when we met, I told you my 17-year-old ass would have kicked my 25-year-old ass. I would have kicked my own ass. And early in my career, working for other people, having to fit a mold, and being in financial services, suiting and tying up, and that's not my style at all. I was a fish out of water. We were selling websites early on. I was in my early 20s selling websites to 60-year-olds that had no idea what a website was, why it was, and so I was kind of the guy they had to go to for a certain product. And we're talking big companies, Morgan Stanley and Smith Barney and big financial companies. You have UBS. I mean, we did business with, these big companies. I'd be in these boardrooms with a 60-year-old chief marketing officer, like, this guy doesn't even know what I'm talking about, right? And here I am doing this dog and pony that my 17-year-old ass, my 17-year-old self would have kicked their ass. I was like fish out of water, dude. I didn't like it a whole lot. I did it because I had bills to pay and whatever, right? And you try to get on a career path. All that to say, like, going independent, being responsible to nobody else's quotas, just gave me the ability to kind of be myself. And dude, like, if you're listening to this, you don't know, but if you're watching, I got floppy hair and a mustache, and I'm a very irreverent person. And I found out that there's a lot of people, even in a stuffy, industry like financial services, that want to work with a guy like that identify with a guy like that. So what's happened is, over the years, I've had an opportunity to kind of come into who I am. My 17-year-old self wouldn't kick my 51-year-old self's ass, because I'm a different guy now, because I'm at who I am. I'm who I am again. And you can build a nice career being who you are instead of being who you think people expect you to be. Yeah. For young professionals, maybe that matters, because maybe you took a job at a big firm. Now you got to do the dog and pony and buy the right car and wear the right suit. And maybe in that environment you have to, but maybe the problem is not you. Maybe it's the environment.
So if you could go back and give your 17-year-old self a quest to go on,
yeah,
what quest would you send him on?
Interesting. God, that's a good question. What quest would I send that person on? I don't, I'll tell you what. So I came through private school. I was the poor kid at the private school. My dad was a truck driver. My mom had jobs and didn't have jobs. And, my buddies, who I still love dearly, but they grew up in a different socioeconomic situation. But I came up through a private school, and there was a certain expectation, right? There's a roadmap. And you get done with high school and you go to college and you get your job and you probably get married and you have your child and blah, 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 right? I rejected a lot of that, but I didn't reject all of it. I went to college probably too soon, didn't know what the hell I was even there for. Started in my hometown of Greenville, Wisconsin, finished up at Northern Arizona in Flagstaff, where I majored in mountain biking and snowboarding. Actually, my degree's history with philosophy, but mountain biking and snowboarding was where I spent my time. And probably it would have been, at 17 years old, it would have been maybe to do that stuff. I don't think, the education is important. Don't get me wrong. But it was, my quest maybe would have been to dive into that stuff as a primary, maybe before the education versus during, because I think perhaps my education suffered a little bit because my interest was not in education. It was in being on a hill somewhere,
Totally. So what is the grand vision for your career at this point, now that you've matured a bit? And thinking towards the future, and you've identified this niche of folks that you serve in your sector, and it seems to help define a lot of who you are. And I think that a lot of people, when they are finding who they are, or they find that person, right, they really stumble upon them. They are often, they have quite a strong purpose. They have they've narrowed their focus onto one thing, that because they've asked themselves, what do I want, right? Who is this person inside of me, and what is the goals that they want to reach? And so what's in sight for you? What is this chief aim in your life?
Yeah, well, it's not career. I enjoy the people I work with. We do good work for the people we do work with. We drive good results, and I enjoy what I do, man. I wake up every morning and I do it, and I'm motivated to do it. Some days are easier than others, for the most part, but I'm not a career-minded guy. Never have been a career-minded guy. I like helping other people a lot. I am always seeking adventure in my life, and that'll never go away. I can't imagine. My kids are 15 and 16. My life's about to take a turn, right? They're about to, in the next 5 years, discover who they are as young adults. And, I think they're both on a college track. And if they're not, that's great too. They're great students and whatever. So adventure, flexibility, those are the things that are important to me. Got a great marriage, 17 years. I married a woman who supports me in doing that and does it with me on her time. I just got back from a 2.5-week trip that was business meetings along the way, culminated in a golf trip with a bunch of guys I went to high school with. In January, I got a little camper that goes in my Toyota Tundra. I rolled that out to Lake Tahoe from Florida, kept my Zoom meetings along the way, had a lot of personal, in-person meetings. It was all for the purpose of snowboarding with a bunch of buddies in Tahoe for a week. That's the sort of shit I'll continue to do until my body will, continues to let me do it. But
I will always be able to milk more out of this flesh machine.
That's
the
it.
day I'm not able to hop on a snowboard, man, is the day that it's time. Insurance policy, like, let's pay out.
Yeah. I've said to Carmen several times. I think it's been a while since I said this. My wife, Carmen. In a moment of frustration, I might go, I'm paddling east, and for that, I live on the Atlantic. So paddling east is a bit, that's the death wish, right? I'm just fucking paddling east. Now she knows it's just an expression. I don't mean it, right? But that's like all right. I'm cashing in.
Yeah.
Life not about quantity, right? Life about quality, right? It is about fucking live hard, dude. 51 years old. I had a very adventurous life, and then I got married and had kids, and that's been an adventure, and it's been awesome. Picked the right partner, that was great because she allows me a lot of freedom to kind of fulfill on my personal stuff also. But I don't know, man. Not that I'm wishing death, but at 51, I've lived a pretty damn full life. Like it's all kind of gravy at this point, man. I'm if I can help another financial advisor grow their business and help other people put a retirement away because that's what they want to do, awesome. I'm good at that, right? That's all good. I like helping other people that way. So it's a means to an end, frankly.
Yeah. So every morning I follow the 4F goal setting framework, if you've heard of that before. So a lot of folks say the typical one is finance, family, fitness, and faith. It came from like a Christian camp.
Sure.
I switched faith out for freedom.
Cool.
And not that faith isn't great, but I think faith is kind of interwoven into all of this and it doesn't necessarily have to do with God. So finance obviously is they're all supposed to be equal. I find myself setting family goals that are less specific and just less concrete than like the finance goals are. Those are really say like, all right, we want to hit X amount per month. We want to get this business to X amount of profit. We want to purchase another property, right? Like those are easy to measure. But then for like family, I'm looking at, this is February 15th of this year. I'm looking at my office or my put here. And one of them is 10 out of 10 baby prep, right? So trying to, okay, what does that mean? Got to get the crib, got to get the stuff, got to have diapers, got to have the bag for the hospital, got to have insurance in order, right? Like that one's a lot easier. Then I have like cleaning the office and the baby room in preparation, made it on the list. And then the last one on here is we have the the couple's adventure book, right? Where you scratch it off every week, try and go do something fun. So we're going horseback riding tomorrow morning. It's going to be such a blast.
Yeah, cool.
I find myself, though, struggling to get specific with my freedom goals and my family goals. And I'd be curious from your perspective with what you've learned in your career and in your life, how would you approach those to add maybe specificity, or is that not important? And what are some of the goals that you have in life, and do you follow any sort of methodology like that?
No, I don't. We have business goals. We've got deadline goals we're transforming the brand a little bit right now. We're transforming our offering. Everything's about moving forward with the business. I don't know that we got a deadline because I got a conference to go to, and I want this new website up before I go to the conference, and have the materials that go with that. That's the deadline, right? So this is not like I'm about to say something that probably people are like, oh, dude, I don't set goals. I really don't. I don't set hard goals, whether it's financial or anything else. And everything seems to work out. What's Thor's line? Man? I make grave mistakes all the time. Everything seems to work out okay. So, not grave mistakes, but like my family is healthy and happy. Some of the healthy we can't control. Some of the healthy we can control. I think that's the goal, right? We need to get some discipline into these teenage daughters of mine, but that's happening. They're good kids. They get great grades. One of my kids is like third in her class of 400. The other's like 20th or something like that. They do awesome. I don't have to be up their ass all the time for it. So I would say my family goals are a little more nebulous, but we keep a very peaceful household. We've got the household where all the other teenagers want to come hang out. It's a good place to be. We'll use their pronouns and we'll call them by the name they want to be called, where most of their parents won't or even know about that piece of their life. So I feel like we create a really comfortable environment for not only our kids but our kids' friends, and
so for somebody like me, I dealt with high stress, high worry my whole life.
Yeah.
My mom's a worrier and my dad's a hippie. And so that combination confused us as kids, as you can imagine. So I tend to lose focus. And I think a lot, especially entrepreneurs, they're easy to distract, which is why so many of them, their careers are so difficult, right? Like the track is just so hard. So I find that desire, wanting something over there that I don't have right now, is the thing that keeps me going towards those. And it allows me to disambiguate my life to the point where I'm worrying about fewer things and I'm just worrying about the next thing in the straight line to get to whatever that thing is that I want. So I'm curious, like, you've got to want things, or is it purely just like, I'm trying to get to the beach as soon as possible. I'm trying to get to mountains as soon as possible. Is it just pure serendipitous, like Charlie's life is just filled with wonder and awe all the time, and
No.
or do you want things? Do you have a list of things that you want that you pursue? Tell me.
Well, I roll around in a 2016 Toyota Tundra. We live by the beach, so it's getting a little rusty. I'll want a new truck at some point, but it'll be a 5-year-old truck with 80,000 miles on it. I don't need the $90,000 whatever.
Yeah, that Tundra will also run forever. So,
forever. Like the gonna fall apart around the motor because it's getting rusty, dude. It's it's in salt air constantly. I take 2 trips a year. I take a snowboard trip with the guys a year. I take a golf trip with the guys every year. I got to be able to afford that stuff, right? So certainly I need to make enough money for that. We got a house near the beach here that I maintain, right? That we made. That you got to pay the mortgage, got to pay the taxes. When something breaks or HVAC just went out, that costs 18 grand. You got to have that sitting around, right? You got to be able to make those things. But I'm not like. Yeah, sure. I want to have security and financial freedom and that sort of thing like the next person. It's going good, man. We got a business where we're helping people. If I keep focusing on helping people, we'll keep growing a business. We'll keep having more money to, continue to grow our lifestyle. I have a couple golf shirts that say Callaway on them. I don't wear brands. I buy the exact same pair of shoes from Target. They make it in leather and canvas. They cost $20. When they get stinky because I don't like to wear socks, then they become my outside work shoes, and I buy a new pair for $20. Like, I'm not buying $120 shoes for work. I don't show up to financial conferences as a suit and tie anymore, man. It's it's khaki jeans and a jacket, and if someone doesn't like that, I don't want to work with them anyway. I don't need a 6,000 square foot house. I'm across the street from the beach. I don't care if I'm ever on the beach. Those people, that stuff erodes faster than mine does. So there's not a lot of material want. I have such a blessed life, dude. I got a great wife. I got great kids. I have never moved somewhere for job or material gain. I have always moved somewhere because it had the best snowboard mountain, or because when the kids were little, we needed to get close to our parents. So we spent a year in Orlando, and they were like, you know what? We like the beach, so let's go to the beach. I got a job right now that, dude, I could do out of a camper anywhere.
Right.
You know, a business. So yeah, weird, Eric. I know, weird.
Not weird. I think I'm often by how the most successful people that I talk with are typically the ones that are just right here, right? They're not thinking about X amount down the road. They're thinking about, I should get so-and-so flowers, right? I should get my wife flowers. Like the presence of mind to be like, man, that would make this person feel really good right now.
We can hear you right now.
Okay. So I learned a long time ago that flowers is way cheaper than divorce. And and it has, I am never disappointed, and I've taught my son this now. Whenever we're walking past the flowers, if you think to get them, freaking get them. It's the easiest, best decision you'll ever make, even if it's your last $15. So it's not weird. You are emulating a lot of what the successful folks on the podcast have talked about. You mentioned earlier Joe Dispenza, and this will be my last question, and then you tell everybody how they can find you. First of all, which book are you reading?
I am reading Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself.
Okay, I haven't read that one yet. My first dive into Joe Dispenza was YouTube, and then I read Becoming Supernatural. And it's woo-woo to max. Everybody is like, you got haters, you got lovers, and it's very polarizing. But I'm a big Joe Dispenza fan, so I'm on the camp of it's legit.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Have you ever had like a spiritual guide in your life, or where do you get that from?
And she can hear me, probably my wife more than anything else. And a lot of, I think, what she relays to me really comes off of people she follows on social media, right?
Any highlights? Who are you thinking of right now?
Carmen, got a couple names.
I'll tell you one of mine while she's thinking. Ram Dass. I'm a big Ram Dass fan.
Yeah. Tell you what, mostly psychology, actually, less spirituality and mostly psychology. We have, I've purchased some substances over the years, and
talk freely. We hit it all over. Yeah, we talk about that on the show all the time.
Yeah. So, we microdosed in mushrooms for maybe 8 months. Driving back from St. Petersburg for our anniversary last year, we listened to a Paul Stamets interview with Joe Rogan. And, we both experimented with psychedelics in our youth and throughout our lives. I really kind of got focused after listening to that interview. And it started with other mushroom supplements. And then, I don't know, man, my weekdays start with a psilocybe, microdose, and usually take the weekends off or go a little bit heavier on the weekends.
Go hard on it, yeah.
All right. So, but usually it's like, 5 days on, 2 days off. And I'll tell you what, makes me smarter, makes me faster, makes me wittier, gives me better vocabulary. It is performance enhancing drugs. And that's, I'm not recommending it for everybody, but
I'm recommending it for everybody. I think I survived some of the most traumatic experiences in my life by microdosing mushrooms. So I'm very bullish on that. We're at the end of our show though. So we'll roll out the red carpet for you. Where can everyone find you?
I'm super active on LinkedIn. So Charlie Van Derven, there's only one of me. Last name is Vanderven. The company is Social Advisors. So you can always find me that way too. But I'm active on LinkedIn mostly, because that's where my audience is, man.
Love it.
Yep.
Charlie Van Derven, thank you for coming on the show.
Stopper, a pleasure, my man.
Carmen, I've got to meet you with our last minute. Are you over? I've got a high.
Nice
were you in there were you in here the whole time?
Or the other room, but I can still hear you.
This joke so much. He talked about it several times on the show. I'm envy relationship. Even though mine's really good, I'm still like, wow, look at those guys.
You just buy more flowers, Eric.
Like
flowers,
15 years. So
love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's good.
Well, we both got a hard stop. Nice to meet you, Carmen. Thank you, Charlie. It's posted in a little while. I'll give you all the clip and everything, and you can post on LinkedIn when it's ready.
Cheers, Eric. Appreciate it, brother.
Later. This has been the Pulse Ox podcast. Please, if you found this episode valuable, give us a like on Spotify and share it with a friend.